I think it was Heartbroken Hog who tagged us in this on Twitter. I could be wrong. I think it was him.
It was, yeah.
Okay. With the Andrew Armstrong stuff, did you guys get a chance to read up on that?
I did not, I'll admit.
Listen up on it or whatever?
Give me the spark notes, because I saw a few tweets that made me think I kind of understood it, but I want to hear the real summary.
So as I understand it, there was an agent that was interviewed on The Buzz talking about draft stuff and Shedur's situation and why the Lions were so much higher on Isaac Tesla than some of the others, and that's why he went a couple rounds higher than people expected. And then was asked about the Andrew Armstrong situation, and basically he was saying was that it actually, he wasn't surprised at all that he didn't get drafted, because there was a bunch of NFL franchises just knew that there were a lot of character red flags and character concerns with him. And it all stems back to before the beginning of the season. And so despite his production, like, nobody was surprised, because everybody was just, like, overly concerned about grabbing him up because of his character and all this stuff. And I just hated to see that and hear that. And I'm not here to question what an agent heard. I mean, I'm sure he's more plugged in than I am and everything, but just never have I a single time gotten that kind of impression from Andrew. I mean, I always thought he was a great interview, and don't know of any trouble that he got into, at school or anything. And then, I mean, and we're not just saying this because they listen, but I think he comes from a good family, good parents. And so that really, really threw me off, man, when I saw that. And worst of the weekend, because I just didn't like to hear it. Like, I would much rather it be the stuff that I was complaining about the other day about, oh, they don't like the way he runs his routes, or whatever. Or he's older, like, fine. But that stuff, it rubbed me wrong, man. I didn't like to hear that. It was disappointing. And I know a lot of people were kind of taken aback by it. Like, what are we talking about here?
Yeah. If Andrew Armstrong has poor character, he's done a very good job at hiding it from literally everyone in the state of Arkansas, everyone that's ever coached him, every player that's ever played with him, every media guy that's ever covered him. Like, literally from the time he stepped on campus about 2 years ago, all we've heard about, hey, this guy's just a hard worker, just solid, great football player, but also like a good leader, immediately came in and became a leader in the wide receiver room. Like, I don't want to do the thing, because, like, I know a lot of times when people get accused of bad stuff, you have the people that are like, oh, I had a good conversation with him. He could have never done. Like, I don't want to say, like, hey, Andrew Armstrong could never make any mistake and he's never rubbed anyone the wrong way or any of that. But, like, I really do think, like, if he has these issues, it just has not arisen in his college career. And this is a guy who started his college career as a redshirt at what at the time was a D2 school, now an FCS school that he worked his way up. And so it's like, somehow his poor character didn't deter him from working his way from redshirt at D2 to leading receiver in the SEC. I don't know. The track record doesn't check out. The stories we hear from all around the program don't check out. That's very weird to me. And, I don't like to see it, especially, by the way, a guy in a family who suffered a really horrible tragedy not too long ago. And I don't want to talk too in depth about this. Like, we've talked about what happened with his brother, but it's like, for a guy to be going through something like that in the biggest year of his life, where he's trying to make his dreams come true, loses his brother, like, that's horrible. And then to, like, hear crap like this thrown around of like, oh yeah, we're worried about his character. It's like, that's it rubs me the wrong way, and it just feels fishy to me.
Well, yeah, and I agree. And I'm going to tell you this right now: someone's lying. I'm just saying, someone's lying. I don't know who it is. It could be the people that are scouts. It could be whoever. But here's my thing on this: character issues. Okay, that's such a vague thing. Like, and that kind of pisses me off, because this is the same thing that Ryan Mallett went through, and it pissed me off too. Like, I knew Ryan a little bit, and Ryan, remember, he got hit with character issues because he had that public intoxication deal when he just got to Fayetteville or whatever. And, and it's just so vague when it's brought up that way. Well, let me tell you guys something. You guys know this because you've been in the media for a while. This is a small state. Mm-hmm. This is a small community. Mm-hmm. And more often than not, if we know of somebody, or if we hear of somebody having character issues or any sort of issues, sometimes we hear something. But most of the time, if not all the time, we will hear speculation about anything, like from coaches, from anybody. And so, knowing Sam Pittman, You know what Sam Pittman really, you could say it's good or bad, but Sam Pittman's also not the type that if he has a player with character issues or anything on his team, he's not exactly going to play him. He's not exactly going to deal with them. Like, he's kind of had record of that.
He doesn't mind saying it. You
Yes,
know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
we public battles.
Exactly. And so to say this, where we haven't heard a single thing about it, the guy has just played his rear end off, was great, and all of that. I'm sorry, somebody's lying. That's the only way I can chalk it up to it. Because again, I think character issues are just, and when you throw that out there, it's such a vague and ridiculous remark. And I want to know, he won't get it from, because Chris Turnage is his name, the agent, but it's him or somebody. I'm like, okay, I want specifics then. Find out something. Because if you're going to throw it out there, what is it then? What's the character issue? Because or Pittman or somebody, I just would love to know what it is, because I have a hard time believing that us here in the state of Arkansas in the social media age, when everything's got a magnifying glass, and us especially and others are on top of all the things with Razorback players all the time, 24/7, 365, for 2+ years, did not hear a peep, one thing about any issue with Andrew Armstrong. And then the NFL's like, well, we've heard some stuff. I doubt that. I sincerely doubt that. So that was really disappointing. And I wish I would have read that a little earlier, but hearing and just looking over at it, that's very disappointing.
Well, I want to provide some context too. And yeah, you mentioned the name of the guy who was being interviewed on your former show, I guess. Yeah. But and not to say anything bad on them. I mean, it's just the agent saying what he was saying. But I'm going to read the excerpt of it, because I know that Arkansas and SI wrote a story about it, and it wasn't an opinion piece. It was literally just kind of building around the quotes that were given in that interview. But some of the quotes that the agent put out there, he said, I thought he might get grabbed very late, but I wasn't surprised. I thought it was 50-50, to be honest. This is not meant to bash the kid by any means. This is just kind of talking facts of what I know. A lot of teams have character concerns on him, character question marks, character red flags. And then he went on to say, this was like at the start of football season last year when I was trying to decide whether I should recruit him or not, I guess for his agency. I had several teams tell me, don't go after him. He's going to be undrafted because of some character concerns, because of some of the off the field issues. One team told me after the combine, or maybe it was right before the combine, and maybe some interviews they had done, but he said it was what he marked down as his worst interview of the entire season that he had. I don't want to get into too many specifics of what they said, but that was a general consensus amongst a lot of teams. And, some of it had to do with maybe maturity and some other things. I almost wonder if he got confused on who he was talking about.
Had to.
Those are strong words. Like those are strong things to throw out there. What is he maybe confusing him with another arc, like maybe Broden?
I really wonder if he just got mixed up who he was talking about there. It seems like we're not talking about the same person to me. That's wild.
Yeah. That's very interesting. And by the way, since we're talking about the NFL draft, this is character issues and character concerns. That is a buzz term that gets thrown out a lot. We hear that all the time. Mm-hmm. Hell, we heard it thrown around with Shedeur Sanders when he started drafting. You started hearing character concerns, blah, blah, blah. You also hear it when something like horrible happens, like when there's like a murder or something like that, whenever you have like guys getting investigated, like, with the Kieran Lacey situation or something. It's thrown around so much, and I think people have gotten very comfortable doing it. And I don't know. I just think that's very interesting, and it's like it almost feels like a cop-out. And like you said, Curtis, if someone wanted to make the physical argument and say, you know what, his 40 wasn't that great, he's an older guy, is he that projectable? Like, whatever, we can have that conversation. But I don't know. I feel like his physical tools had to do a lot more with it than character, but who knows? Maybe. I mean, he did go undrafted, and we were all confused by it. So like, who knows? Maybe those interviews didn't go well, but that's very concerning. In the way that he made it seem like this is a multi-year. Like there's been concern about this for a while, and I'm like, again, why did nobody know about this?
Yeah, I just don't see any way, shape, or form that it happened. Like, and again, and I'll tell you this, because I know his family, of course, watches, listens to us. Like Andrew Armstrong, that is, would love to have you on our show, and would love to talk with you and maybe talk about this if there was anything like this kind of, and maybe who knows, maybe takes to social media to defend himself a little bit. But we'd love to hear your side of it, because. Again,
be happy to clear that air.
Yeah, you got to clear that. That's something that you don't, they'll be following you, and especially like you said, Curtis, I feel like he could have gotten it or should have gotten it confused with somebody else. And you definitely don't want to be confused with somebody else with that stuff. So please, yeah, I'll reach out, whatever it takes. But for real, like we want your side of the story because it just seems so unlikely that that even happened. So, but I tell you what, we're getting close to wrapping up here. We'll get into our little Freedom Friday action. We'll answer anything that you guys will actually want to talk about. And it's presented by our friends at BetSaracen. Go to the BetSaracen app on your iPhone or on your Android. Check out all the specials. They got Razorback baseball tonight, all the specials. And, Andrew may even one day, he's going to pull out a great one. He did last night. We'll see if he does one today. I'll let him do that later. But either way, they got all the specials for Arkansas baseball. They got all the NBA playoff action, everything that you could possibly want with the spreads, money lines, everything. So download the app at BetSaracen with your iPhone or your Android, or you can also check them out online at BetSaracen.com. So a few of your chats here. Shout out to our guy Dre. Appreciate you, Dre. He says it's not just improbable, but impossible that character issues went unnoticed while at Arkansas. It's kind of where I'm at too, man.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, he, to my knowledge, never got any, like he was never suspended or anything. The only thing, and I think it was Camo Hog brought it up a little bit earlier in the chat. Like the only thing I remember too is when he was teeing off on the offensive line against Texas A&M or whatever. For hell, I wanted to. So
yeah. Which, by the way, in that moment, we didn't say, "Oh wow, he's causing trouble on the sideline." We were like, "Hey, Arkansas needs someone to do that." Hell, we wish our quarterback was doing that.
Right?
Yeah. Well, not only that too, but like I said, guys, how many things I know I do, but how many things do y'all get from fans or see in Discord or whatever, where they're like, "Hey, I'm hearing this. Like, have you heard about this? Like, man, I heard that this guy was did this jerk, and then there's a locker room issue." And like, we didn't hear any of that. Like, there weren't even random people saying stuff. So that's what just makes it even more like outrageous that was the case. Let's see. Also, Transplanted Texan said, concerned that Arkansas radio host did not push back on those statements.
As I understand it, and I haven't listened to it, I read the article with the quotes, but even in there, it kind of insinuated that they did.
Yeah.
Like they were just kind of like, wait,
wow,
what? Yeah. Like, will you elaborate, please? Because that's, so I think that they were taken aback by it also.
Yeah. Also, I want to touch on this comment real quick from Rawhog. He says, must be a conspiracy to wrongly keep these great players from being drafted. Totally happens all the time. Well, I get he's like trying to make fun of this conversation here. It's not that we're saying, hey, Andrew Armstrong should be a first round pick. He was a guy that was a fringe draft prospect anyway, because of his age, because of, a lot of factors. He didn't test out super well at the combine physically. Like, we're not saying, hey, he should have been a first round pick. And they went from a guy from first round pick to undrafted. He was going to be like a late round pick anyway. And so it's just, a lot of times you see guys like that go undrafted. We're not saying there's an actual conspiracy, but, these things do happen a lot, actually, believe it or not. The character concern, that term specifically, is a major red flag because it's the type of vague terminology you hear when someone doesn't actually have something substantial to back it up.
Yeah. Yeah. And also, too, look at it from your own perspective. Like, because I feel this way, and I think we all do. Like, I feel like reputation does matter and it means something. Like, if people want to say dumb stuff about me or whatever, but if it's like somebody out there that's of importance or of significance that's saying, oh yeah, well, John's got character issues, and I feel, but I want to be like, no, I don't, and I want to be setting the record straight, and because that people who can hear that, especially if you're doing business with people or if you're trying to get in the league or whatever, that can stick with you. And if it's not true, it needs to be addressed and fixed and all that. So that's kind of what I look at, is like, I would want people defending me and coming out and saying, hey, yeah, there's no character issue. It's a very important thing for his reputation and for his future. So it's very important to make sure that it's done right.